I just think it's brilliant.
To me, it's crap. Simple as that.
You'll find it in every city around the world, off highways and byways, in big towns, little towns. What is it exactly? I'm Professor John Young. I'm a sculptor and public artist, and I'm here to answer all the questions you've ever had about public art but were afraid to ask. Questions like, I paid for that?
I would like to make a comment on the other artwork that we have in the park. Embarrassing. You have this adult male and a young boy that are nude, as you know what I'm talking about over here.
We all get to share in it and see it and enjoy it, so I think it's amazing.
It's the perfect scenario for pedophilia.
I know what you're thinking. We're standing in front of a pile of rocks. But what this is a sculpture by Michael Heiser entitled Adjacent Against a Pond. And it's all about the interface between man and nature. Here we are in Seattle, Washington. We're surrounded by water and the urban environment. It's the exact interface between man and nature in our city. And we're standing in front of this concrete stone, this plinth, and this 40-ton granite boulder. It's the relationship between this concrete, these man-made stones, and the natural stones that this piece is all about. As humankind evolves and develops, becomes more technological, we become further and further removed from nature. And that's represented by the number of sides we have here on these concrete rocks. This is a 5-sided one. It's the most complex one, and it is the furthest removed from the natural one. This was one of the first pieces commissioned by the Seattle Arts Commission in 1976, and it was hugely controversial. People said, we paid thousands of dollars for a pile of rocks? If you've ever been to Seattle, you've seen this piece. This is The Hammering Man by Jonathan Borofsky. This piece is about the worker toiling all day long. The workers from around the world. And it's the anonymous worker. He doesn't have a name, he's only got a number. Seattle is an activist town known for its political protests, and this piece that we're standing in front of was the subject of a very interesting protest. This is a work called Vertebrae by Henry Moore, and the bank that originally owned this piece had to sell some of its assets. It threatened to sell to Henry Moore, and a group of about 1,000 people who loved this work created a ring around the piece and refused to let the bank sell it. It's one of the first times in American public art history that a protest was inspired in order to keep a work rather than get rid of a work. Really an interesting story. Henry Moore was very much interested in organic form, biomorphic form, and in this case, a piece called Vertebrae, he's interested in bone shapes. His work over the years involved a lot of nestling bone shapes, which in a way are like a metaphor for a family nestling and cuddling together. Listen to it. It's got a great sound. It's cast bronze, hollow. It's all hollow. So we're here with Meredith, who's the manager of the famous Two Bells Tavern in Seattle, Washington, one of the most preeminent artist bars in the city. Meredith, why don't you tell us about the history of this place?
Well, this place was established sometime in the early 20s. Always had sort of a bohemian vibe, lots of artists through here, writers, political activists, as well as, musicians and locals and people who like to get their drink on.
Very good.
And this eraser situation over here, this humongous eraser, seems like a lot of time wasted for nothing.
For me, I like knowing about the artist and what brought the artist to creating a certain piece.
That's not art. Art.
Whether it's in your hometown or around the world, you call that art? Well, yeah. Let's find out why.